Hey, Dave.
Hey, what's up?
I just got a brand new set of headphones. I'm super stoked.
Oh, yeah? Who makes them?
Studio.
Oh, like Phil Collins?
Yeah, like the song Susu Studio.
Wow, he makes great headphones, huh?
Well, the company makes great headphones. I got the Regent, which is their premium on-air model. It's got impeccable clarity and a really balanced sound. And it's Bluetooth, but it also comes with an auxiliary cord, so if I feel like having a cord, I can. You know what else is awesome about these headphones? They have 24 hours of active battery life and 20 days of standby life, so they're great for home or on the go.
So, like, you don't have to plug them in?
Right. Like, you can actually use them for, like, 24 hours.
So, how can we get them?
So, you can actually go to studio.com/US, and they've got free worldwide shipping. But they're so awesome that they're giving our listeners a discount code, blamestorming, which will get you 15% off of these awesome headphones.
Well, these look like really cool headphones, and if I don't lose these, this was a very good investment.
Yeah, you're definitely not going to want to lose them. I mean, they're so functional and stylish, and they're made in Sweden, Dave.
Oh, they're Swedes.
Yes, they're Swedes.
I did not know
Scandinavian
I
design.
had no idea Phil Collins was Swedish.
Well, if he were Swedish, he would definitely be as awesome as a pair of studio headphones.
Welcome to Blamestorming. Blamestorming. In a post-truth world, there's plenty of blame to go around. Plenty of blame to go around. Plenty of blame to go around. Join Dave Sirus and Maryssa Smith as they blamestorm about today's hot topics.
Hey guys, welcome to Blamestorming. I'm Maryssa Smith. I've got Dave Sirus with me.
Yes.
I've got Marc Gerber with me.
Correct.
I've got Joe Conte with me.
Yes.
And Johnny O'Rourke with me.
How are you? Yes.
So, now, Mark, how have you been?
I've been well. Thank you for having me back. I really enjoy being here.
Thanks for coming back. Yeah.
We had Mark because we were going to talk to an incel, and we wanted to be respectful and have someone who purports to be a mental health professional.
What, two guys from Jersey? We don't qualify?
Apparently not.
All of our advice has been pretty much just as good.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do I know? I mean, listen, I have the license, but I haven't really done much with it.
Right. So can we jump in with this other story we wanted to talk about real quick?
Yeah, go for it, Dave.
I think we all love the story of the 30-year-old man who a judge said he had to leave his parents' house.
His parents evicted him.
Yeah, he's forced to leave. Now, my question, of course, is how much time did the judge give him to leave? Because this whole argument was, I'll leave. I just need more than, 6 months. They only told me in February.
My goldfish is pregnant.
Don't you wish you could see the whole timeline from the first time they asked him, I think it's time for you to move out, all the way to when they had to go to take him to court? I just want to see a scene from each part of that as it built.
And I want to see his facial hair get longer and longer as it goes.
Oh, yeah, big beard, right?
Yeah, of course.
He looks exactly like the kid from 2.5 Men after he joined that cult.
Oh,
Yeah.
Remember the kid from 2.5 Men joined a cult of, this is true, the Forerunner? It was this the church leader. Who I've talked about this in my act. I'm not going to do the bit, but he taught people that Beyonce and Jay-Z were like Illuminati members who were trying to turn everyone gay. And that's the church that got the kid from 2.5 Men to quit. And he literally looked like he was slowly turning. He literally looked like Gollum halfway into morphing into Peter Jackson.
But did you notice if he supposedly, just being a bum at his parents' house, he wore a suit for the pic. He was smart. Like when the politicians smile when they're being indicted, he wore a suit. It's probably the first time he wore a suit. If he's living in his parents' house and doesn't have a job, when else is he wearing a suit? Yeah. Oh, they're taking a picture. I mean, let me get
that was
the
probably the job interview suit his parents bought for him.
Exactly.
It was his confirmation suit.
Used twice, his interview suit. Yeah.
The best thing about it was there's something about a man wearing a nice suit but looking so homeless also because he had the big long beard and the ridiculous long hair.
The suit was probably ill-fitting. It wasn't like an Italian,
It probably was his dad's suit.
It wasn't a custom-made suit. This guy had on his dad's suit. Exactly. Even if it wasn't his dad's suit, it was probably his dad's suit.
Like you saw the long hair, and like this guy is committed to being unemployable.
Yeah.
This guy wants to make it impossible and just the look on his face of just like the entitlement. And I don't like it when I don't believe in the whole, if you're born in this year, you're an entitled. Everyone says that about every generation.
Entitled is another word for spoiled that they called every generation. So,
but this guy.
Oh,
yeah, this guy.
Oh my! The way he was on the news, the fact that he has the balls to be on the news, like you're important and like you should be proud of this. And he's like, well, if they had all, he was like, well, the funny thing is, if they had just given me the time I wanted, they never would have spent the legal fees, and you would still be in their house. We all know you weren't gonna fucking leave.
This guy doesn't realize he should be hiding out like a pedophile. He's going on the friggin' news and bragging about it.
Oh God!
Yeah. And they
this guy should be covering his face.
For him to move out, and he wouldn't take the money.
Well, in the long run, he's still taking more of their money.
Well, the truth is, he shaves and you won't recognize him. So at least he's thinking ahead if he does have to actually get a job. And
he's probably going to go into stand-up now. That's what's going to happen. He's going to get a lot of gigs.
Listen, I lived with my dad.
We're going to open for him if we're lucky.
But you had a job.
I did have a job. But I lived with my dad from when I was 32 till I was 40.
Good for you.
But you know what? Whenever I try to have a girl come downstairs, I always said that he's my landlord, and I just call him Pop.
Whoa.
And then when he plays the accordion, because my dad would play the accordion, I would say, come on, honey, my landlord's serenading you.
But the truth is, it always felt like it was just an older roommate, that's the vibe I got. It wasn't
I had my own entrance and all that, but still, if my old man said, dude, you're out of here, find yourself a place, I'd be like, all right, I gotta go.
Incels, listen to this. This guy got married.
Yes,
he got laid and he got married.
Listen
to the story.
But without being racist, there's a lot of Italian guys that are known, and the parents usually don't want them to leave. So there's this double thing going on where they're like,
No, if this kid was in an Italian family, his mother would be wailing on the porch. Which is you're gonna be hungry.
He's only 30 years old.
He can't go out. He's only a 30.
He's 12 years from being a senior in high school.
When are you gonna go and live with that whore?
So here's the best thing about the story. I saw him talking to a reporter today, and the reporter says to him, she goes, well, a lot of people are saying that this is, millennials are lazy and entitled, and that this is proof of it. What do you say to that? And he goes, well, I really disagree with that. I don't think I'm a millennial, because millennials are liberal. I'm actually very conservative.
Of course he is. Living off his parents instead of the government.
Yeah, I'm a lazy conservative.
Yeah. What makes more sense about a 30-year-old Trump supporter than one who says, all these millennials are lazy liberals, but I, the guy who looks like Methuselah at 30 and won't leave his parents' house, I'm better than them.
How many times do you think he's used the word welfare recipient and pull up bootstraps in his life? Guarantee. Hey, pull up your bootstraps.
He won't take public assistance, but he'll take parent assistance for the rest of his life.
Make my parents' basement great again.
This guy screams tiki torch. This is the kind of guy who's probably like, if I had a job, Mexicans would be taking it.
So why bother?
He probably goes specifically to his parents and he's like, I tried, but I'm the one guy that won't pick up in front of Home Depot. Because I keep asking about benefits.
He should shave the beard and just leave a mustache. He could probably get some labor work, you know what I mean?
His poor parents. They tried.
And the fact is that now they're thrown into the forefront of the news. You know what I mean? All they wanted to do was have their fly, be free. This is how it works.
Yeah.
The bird gets wings and you let him go, and that's all they wanted to do. And now they're in the news because their kid
they are evicting their kid.
Because they're trying to make them look like they're.
But I don't mean to break it all down to this. But what nationality was he? I'm just curious.
He was white, some kind of.
No, but I mean, it's like
there's a cultural component, right?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like Irish, my mother wanted to charge me rent the first time in high school. Right. She had to buy me a razor. The first time I needed a razor, she goes, "You know what these cost? You got to start kicking in, and you got to go." I'm a freshman in high school.
My mom would have kept me, but Italian.
You're Italian, but you had that speech with her when you were in 5th grade.
Exactly.
There's a certain
amount of... My sister when she was in 3rd grade.
You can really see that this kid has an ego on him, too, because of number one, the fact that he's willing to just defend himself in the news like he was right. The fact that he wouldn't cut his hair or shave for court says a lot about him. Right.
But he wore the suit.
Says a lot about a guy that he's just like, he just feels like an alt-right guy. Like, feels like, I don't need to change myself for society.
So has he shied away from the media at all?
No, he's loving it.
That's frightening.
He's a pig in shit.
That's frightening to me. I would be embarrassed.
The shame.
Yes.
The lack of shame that people have now. People are just willing. Like, glass houses don't exist anymore. People are just so willing to just be giant hypocrites. Sure. It's a weird thing.
Do you think he's one of these MGTOWs?
What?
Well, if we had the incel call and I wanted to talk to him about it, but MGTOW is an acronym for men going their own way, and so I guess they would be volcels because like they won't actively pursue a relationship or change themselves in order to get a relationship, but they're content being alone, but they're just doing their own thing. Like it's like, oh, I'm doing me, and like I don't need to shave, I don't need to cut my hair, I'm perfect the way I am, like, and I don't need to do anything else.
Is there an acronym for every shitty personality trait on the planet?
Asshole, usually.
I've never heard of that either.
Me neither.
I mean, in doing my incel research, I stumbled across the MGTOWs.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, I'm guessing a lot of these incels probably live with their parents, living at home.
It's a lot of people, they want to attach a name to every shitty behavior because it makes it feel legitimized. Because now it's like, no, I'm a protected group now. I'm Trump supporters who believe that the government should pay for my hookers. Like, there's a weird... They all want to just be like, they want to have protection. Like this guy that we were supposed to talk to, he had a video where he compared being an incel to being an overweight woman. And he was kind of saying, like, he wants people to understand what's hard. It's like being an overweight woman where, like, you're at a disadvantage romantically. And it was a weird...
I don't know, because all the fat chicks I knew in high school were complete hoes.
Yeah, I know. That's actually the thing. That's sort of what I'm basing on. I think a lot of his fear of like... being alone is just
if he got out and about, he'd have known that.
It's a lack of life experience that he said. I don't know. Could a fat woman in the comments tell me if this is true that you can't meet men? And it was like it kind of sounds like the problem here is you're just not meeting enough individual people. And we also know in terms of like Trump support, the less human beings you've met in your life, the more likely you are to vote Republican right now. That's a thing. Where like the more. People who live near ports are liberal.
Yeah, traveled. Exactly, yeah.
People who know 8 people their whole life are much more likely to vote for like a Ted Cruz type.
Well, even if you look at conservatives, if they have one person in their life who fits into something like Cheney was pro-gay marriage because his daughter was a lesbian. Gay, Rush Limbaugh was pro-rehabilitation instead of prison for drug users because he had a drug problem. Right. So when you're on the right, it's like empathy comes when you have the personal experience.
When it hits close to home.
Yeah.
The other thing that I came across when I was doing my incel research is a term that they call reverse rape. And that is kind of to what he was saying, where a person won't have sex with someone because of the way they look. So, like if a guy won't have sex with a fat chick, it's reverse rape because he won't have sex with her just because he finds her unattractive. Or if someone doesn't have sex with a trans person, it's considered reverse rape because they won't have sex with them because they're trans.
It sounds like that's written by someone who just wants to mock actual rape victims. Like it almost sounds like.
Well, I feel like most of that sounds like all of that.
Yeah, it seems like something that people will repeat because they believe it, but the person who first came up with it was like, those goddamn lying women who are always getting mad about. Like, it just seems like this resentment because.
Right, this is rape too.
Yeah, this is.
Guess what else is rape?
It's like Sam Kinison.
So rape is a double reverse rape.
Yes.
Yeah.
Double reverse,
that's a
no
negative
takebacks.
rape.
So what wouldn't be considered what do you call it? Negative rape? Reverse rape? If it's not being unattractive to somebody, what wouldn't be if you don't have sex with somebody? Is there a scenario where you don't want to have sex with somebody and it's not reverse rape? What is it? Is there one?
It's called a headache.
I thought. Is it that, or is it your family? Is that the only thing? Like, hey, we can't do it. We're related. Well, that's not
incest.
reverse rape.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, what is it that where not wanting to have sex with somebody? It's not reverse rape.
It's just
and the incels have a body count. You know, there's been a couple of murders done.
Right. The truck that just happened.
Where
Elliot Rodgers.
Wait, hold on. The truck hit a crowd or something?
Yeah, that was a guy
in Toronto.
who was an active incel user, and they found his posts, and they saw.
Wait, is that the guy that was in the car filming himself. Who is that guy's like a martyr now? You know what I'm talking about? Like when I was looking into this, that's the kid.
I didn't know he filmed himself.
Alex.
Well, there was a kid that killed himself, right?
There was one guy who did it with a gun, and one guy who did it with a truck, and they have like a death count of about 16 total between the.
And there was one before him, before the Elliot Rogers. There was an incel before him that I think had a count of like 9.
And by the way, that 17-year-old who killed 10 people at his school just a few days ago.
He was an incel sympathizer.
He wasn't like, I don't think they've said that he was on message boards, but you look at the actual story, and they said that he did this after being rejected by a girl that he repeatedly harassed and wanted to be with. And people said, oh, he was getting bullied. No. The actual stories are that he felt like this girl had no right to say no to him, and he sought her out and killed her. This was about killing her and taking some people with her. That is exactly, and that's exactly the kind of misogyny that we're talking about. The kind of incel who's going to start killing people, it's because he believes you all owe me. And there's a certain this is about entitlement again. It's about people believing that they deserve everything and that they don't think that there should be any hierarchies at all.
But it also seems to me that most of these like mass shooters have been incels because, I mean, the Columbine kids, I think that they were probably incels as well. And you've never heard of
You're supposed to be at 17.
But I feel like most of them have been because there's never been one case where like the girlfriend of a mass shooter came out and said, this is really unlike him. He seemed like such a peaceful person, and he went to yoga and meditated.
He was so popular and all that. No, it never happened.
The Vegas shooter had a girlfriend.
The church shooter too. The black church shot up the black church. But then again, that was a white supremacist.
Yeah, that's the other side. That's the other side of these shooters. A lot of it is about. It's race, and those people they can be getting laid. You can be like American History X. The guy was in the middle of fucking a girl, and he took a break to go kill 2 black people.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of Nazi chicks out there.
Yeah, no, that's that, and that's the unfortunate thing is that. At least that's the difference.
I just
the Nazis
think
still get
all
laid.
these kids, all these incel kids needs is a little religion. And then they have 72 virgins waiting for them.
That'll fix his wagon.
That's the funny thing about that Jordan Peterson is saying we need to have enforced monogamy, and then when they say, well, you can't just give women to men, he goes, oh, no, I'm saying that society needs to tell people that it's better to be monogamous. Oh, you mean like every church on earth has been doing for 5,000 years? Yeah. Like, I think we've got that locked down.
He doesn't know how lucky he is to be a human, too. I know I keep reiterating this, but in some species, there's bachelor herds of animals, male animals that can't copulate, that can't get a mate, and they just run around and do nothing all day. They just
the lions are one. The lion pride. There's always the one
lion. There's an alpha, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
With walruses, they have to just wait for the main walrus to fall asleep and then sneak over and fuck one of his wives and then run away. That's what they do.
These guys don't know how lucky they are that there is someone out there that will fuck them.
But they believe that they're part of this control of this very strict ecosystem where that's who they are. They actually believe that they've been thrust into that, and they think that modern men are being treated like that.
They believe they're in a bachelor herd?
Yes. They actually think they are.
So they feel oppressed?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
I mean, this has happened throughout time, and there was a time where you were a celibate man and you couldn't find a wife or weren't interested in a wife, and you became a priest or a monk, or you did some sort of vocational work, or you became like a hermit somewhere. This is not something new. It's just that they just think everyone else is supposed to give them pussy.
Well, I think because we're exposed to so much more information now, so everybody now sees. Whether it's on social media or TV shows or news, everybody is getting this or everybody's getting to have that. Even though it's only because it's perception. The perception is there are a lot of this going on.
Right, you're on Instagram all day scrolling.
That's what I go back to. I think it goes back to porn.
Well, I don't know
when you're watching porn, when you're in a bad place and you're watching nothing but porn, you think that everybody's getting it but you. Am I right?
Well, there's that too.
I didn't mean to look at Joe.
And part of it is the idea that before TV, before people could watch movies, where you only interacted with the people in your neighborhood. A 10 was any girl with teeth.
Yeah.
What a 10 was so much different. Now you get to see what the most beautiful women who have ever, literal freaks of nature in positive ways.
We're only supposed to be we're only supposed to be in a group. We're only supposed to know no more than 150 people.
Yeah.
And you would probably know this more than any of us.
Be close to about 12 and be in a group of 100, 150.
150 people. So you're supposed to only be familiar with a few people, and you just kind of go, okay, well, this is kind of how things are. And
right. I can compare myself to this person.
And you adjust. Well, when you see so many things and so many groups and so many people where you go, oh, my God, I didn't realize there were that many 10s in this world. I should have one. Well, if you were only around 150 people, like Dave said, you would be like, you would know
Mike gets the 10.
Yes,
Mike's
exactly.
Mike's
Mike's getting the 10.
6'3".
Exactly.
Mike doesn't work out, and he still has abs somehow.
Yeah, exactly.
Mike gets the 10.
Yes.
And I'll get my nice 7 over here. I wasn't pointing at you, Marissa. But.
He was pointing at Dave.
I'm an 8.5, goddammit.
You're a good number, that's for sure. But that's the thing. Like, you can show me any incel. Show me an incel who's bald, short, whatever it is, and I'll show you an analogous guy who has a girlfriend or a wife who just had a different attitude. That's the only thing that was different between them. You're a dick, and he's a decent guy who is like trying to meet people and trying to get out there.
Absolutely. You ever see like a really good-looking guy with a girl that you're like, and you well, you don't usually see this when you see a really good-looking guy with like a less attractive girl.
Oh yeah.
You see that less than you see the opposite.
The opposite, yeah.
But do you ever just look at that and you just think, he just didn't want to work?
Lazy. He's a lazy, good-looking millennial. That's
Or
what
he really wanted to be appreciated. He wants all the massages.
Yeah.
He wants to be the
He wants
prize.
hero worship.
Because the old
Either
joke
that, or
is
maybe
that,
to be less cynical, maybe he just fell for somebody.
I always think that they're into like the freakiest shit because like an attractive girl is gonna be like, I don't have to do that.
Yeah, I'm not fucking in the ass with a strap
but
on.
like a less attractive girl is gonna be like, well, this is the best I'm ever gonna do. Like whatever he wants, I'm not doing better.
Right, because it's always about what the woman will allow sexually. That's as far as you can go. However high the girl sets the bar, that's as far as you go. Because anything after that is, obviously
Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So that's a great point.
Who, by the way, getting arrested. Did he turn himself in today?
I don't know if he did, but he's planning
himself
to.
in
Yeah.
this week. Yeah.
He's gonna.
Which I'm just happy about because when Bill Cosby got convicted, everyone's like, well, what about Harvey Weinstein? I'm like, a little bit more recent. Give it time.
Yeah, really.
How many years was between Phil Spector killing that woman and going to jail? These things take time. I remember being like, do you really think that we're going to let Harvey Weinstein off the hook for some reason? Like, we're allowed to get multiple rapists off the street.
Yeah.
Like, give it time. Things are not working
We'll
great.
see if
but
he gets convicted.
There's also
though.
a lot of guys out there who are horrific to women, never did anything illegal. So they're never, they're not going to be penalized with criminal charges.
Right, a lot of
Weinstein
times.
did. What did he do?
Well,
he raped.
listen, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's a difference between making a girl feel uncomfortable and doing what
just being an asshole.
Harvey Weinstein.
A lot of people did terrible things to women, but he still gave them money and got out of his mother's car, so that's why it's okay. Like Joe. Joe did it as a transactional thing where they were open to what was they knew it was going to happen.
And they knew it wasn't going to
And
take
they
long
said,
either.
this
So.
is
It was
something
on
that
the
a
menu, exactly. Right.
This is something a person would only do in exchange for money they desperately need, and everything works out.
Yes, I mean...
But yeah, no, it's Harvey's going to go down. I mean...
What was he arrested? I mean, what was the charge?
He's being charged with rape.
Sexual assault and rape.
Yeah, a lot of women are saying that they're, because of his power, he'd get away with it because men will do bad things when given positions of power, even if maybe if they never had that position, they might not have never had the balls. Unfortunately, a lot of men will take advantage of a powerful position.
Power is disinhibiting.
Yeah. And Morgan
Somebody tell me
Freeman
what that word means.
was just being accused of sexual harassment. I just wrote an article today that
that just happened.
Yeah.
Who?
Morgan Freeman is being
yeah.
accused of
I heard this.
harassment.
I thought you were going to say Mario Batali, the chef.
Oh,
he was on
well,
60
they
Minutes.
canceled
yeah.
the Chew because of him.
His just got a lot worse.
Yeah.
Well, that's a terrible thing.
Batali had a harassment charge, and now he's got a rape charge.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Now-
didn't hear it was a rape charge yet.
Or an assault charge.
Oh, okay.
The charges against him have gotten
Girls
worse.
passing out, and it's and then waking up in strange,
No, that's
Yeah.
No, I didn't hear
giant leap
that.
from his old charges.
Yeah.
Right.
When did that come out?
That just came
It
out.
was on
my-
60 Minutes, wasn't it?
It's
That's what I
just-
was-
really?
That was this week. Batali looks like he's going to.
So Morgan was
real
just
trouble.
inappropriate, I heard. I mean, he didn't actually...
Similar to what Jeffrey Tambor was accused of, more on-set
verbal,
harassment.
but it was verbal and intimidation. Yeah.
Like, are you wearing underwear and
Yeah.
like trying to like pull up someo's skirt
Right.
and a lot of rubbing and touching.
So is that still assault?
It's more lawsuit than jail time type of stuff.
Right.
I think once you start getting physical, or if I always said, I think as long as a woman doesn't feel that she's in danger, as long as her safety's not in jeopardy, I don't think there should, unless it's just some guy like touches her and then she runs out of the room. That's different, but I think it's all about the woman's safety. Look, unfortunately, sometimes you feel uncomfortable. Like I always said the Louis C.K. thing. If you took the fact that, forget about the fact that he was masturbating in front of girls. Let's say that he had a thing where he liked to stick his fingers down his throat and vomit in front of women. Let's just say he had some weird. Now, as awful as that is, it would be the same exact reaction from the women. Like, oh my God, that's disgusting. And
wait, but is there a planter nearby?
No, that's Weinstein. But the thing is, as long as, look, what he did was creepy, and as long as there wasn't a way for these girls to leave the room and just go, then, hey, it's just, unfortunately, they were in an uncomfortable position, and as long as they can have the freedom to leave, then I don't think it goes under the same guise as assault. I mean, maybe it's
not something you should go to jail for, but it's certainly something you should be reprimanded career-wise for, and maybe you should have ramifications, but not jail time. If you asked a girl to watch me masturbate, it's something you should be, at the very least, conversation worthy, that we should be able to say, you shouldn't have done that.
Oh, absolutely.
And maybe you shouldn't be in a position to be in charge of other people and work, but it doesn't mean you should go to jail as if that woman wasn't allowed to leave. Now, of course, there are accusations that
people were
Louis
not allowed
did
to
not
leave.
allow women to leave, and that changes everything.
Or if this happened, and let's say in his office,
you're going to get fired if you don't
people
do this.
are, But unfortunately, I always said there should.
Wait, I'm sorry. You're talking about Weinstein right
No, we're
now?
talking about Louis.
Oh, okay.
There's this.
But by the way, I'm sorry. In Weinstein's defense, just real quick, I have to say this: you've never seen such lush chrysanthemums. So
I just always said that women should follow the Cinderella rule. I call it the Cinderella rule. If you're in a guy's apartment or hotel room, and it clicks midnight, and you don't want to have sex with him, for your own safety, not for your own good, but for your own safety, leave. Not because, and it wouldn't be your fault if you stayed and got and something happened, but for your own safety, get the hell out of there. Because you know what? After midnight, I always say, is when nothing ever happens. They say that about football players and athletes. Nothing happens at 4 a.m, so don't go out at 4 a.m.
So my Italian mother used to say to me when I was like 25 living at home.
nothing good happens at 4 a.m.
Yeah. But at midnight, if you don't want to have sex with this guy, leave. Because unfortunately, something bad could happen, and whether people will think it's the girl's fault or not doesn't matter. The shit still happens.
Right. It's still his fault. It's still 100%
right,
his
but
responsibility. But if you left, you could have avoided being hurt, and that's still better.
Absolutely.
It's better to avoid being hurt than to make a point.
Yeah, then make a point, and then, then this guy gets in trouble. You know what? You still got hurt. So what's the difference if the guy got in trouble or not?
I mean, I've had people say don't walk women to their cars because men shouldn't rape them, and it's like, you are backwards. That is a backwards attitude. I am not going to be okay with more women getting raped just because you think it'll have some long-term change to society if more women are getting assaulted, because it means it will be closer to men stop doing it. There will always be animals, and we need to protect people from animals at the same time of punishing them. And telling women that, it's not your fault, but also don't walk through a bad neighborhood if you can avoid it. Just like a man shouldn't walk through a bad neighborhood if he can avoid it.
But what are they saying about walking a woman to her car?
I've had people say, like, you shouldn't tell women to take self-defense or give them give them pepper spray or walk them to their cars because you're making it look like it's their fault. And it's like, I swear to God,
that's not a little too global.
What if you don't have any other options? What if you don't have somebody to walk you to the car?
The long-term answer
What if
to that,
you don't have two friends hiding in the trunk?
The long-term answer to that is them to say, in the long term, well, maybe in the long term, every single man in that neighborhood who might have raped her will have someone tell them not to do so.
Yeah.
And it's extremely childish.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw people arguing that we need to stop women from getting that nail polish that changes color when you get drugged. When they get nail polish, you put on their nail, they dip the nail in their drink, and it'll change color if it's been roofied. Someone invented that.
Really?
And there are women saying, don't use this because you're giving men permission to roofie you if you use this. That is
I don't
fucking crazy.
I don't even understand that.
I saw women specifically making that argument.
Hey, Dave.
Hey, what's up?
I just got a brand new set of headphones. I'm super stoked.
Oh, yeah? Who makes them?
Studio.
Oh, like Phil Collins?
Yeah, like the song Susu Studio.
Wow, he makes great headphones, huh?
Well, the company makes great headphones. I got the Regent, which is their premium on-air model. It's got impeccable clarity and a really balanced sound. And it's Bluetooth, but it also comes with an auxiliary cord, so if I feel like having a cord, I can. You know what else is awesome about these headphones? They have 24 hours of active battery life and 20 days of standby life, so they're great for home or on the go.
So, like, you don't have to plug them in?
Right. Like, you can actually use them for, like, 24 hours.
So, how can we get them?
So, you can actually go to studio.com/US, and they've got free worldwide shipping. But they're so awesome that they're giving our listeners a discount code, blamestorming, which will get you 15% off of these awesome headphones.
Well, these look like really cool headphones, and if I don't lose these, this was a very good investment.
Yeah, you're definitely not going to want to lose them. I mean, they're so functional and stylish, and they're made in Sweden, Dave.
Oh, they're Swedes.
Yes, they're Swedes.
I did not know
Scandinavian
I
design.
had no idea Phil Collins was Swedish.
Well, if he were Swedish, he would definitely be as awesome as a pair of studio headphones.
Get that Kevlar vest off because you're giving them the right
permission to shoot.
You're saying it's okay to shoot you if you wear the... Yeah, exactly. And it was... And it's like what you're saying is you have a hypothetical theory that it will reduce rape in the long run to let substantially more women get attacked now, and you're fucking crazy to think that that's worth it.
How is that even, like, logical?
A lot of people have made that argument. I've had people specifically say that to me, and I was like,
you know,
how
where a
many
lot of
women
this...
are you
I
okay
want to
with
know
getting
what
hurt?
our resident therapist thinks of that. I mean, is that even, like, is that almost like sociopath, like a sociopath type of thinking?
I was zoning out a little bit. I missed a little bit. I want. Wait. All right. So they.
This is real. This is a lot of.
So
people
what is
who've
this?
argued
What is this person's argument?
The argument was they were saying that we should stop people. She claimed that the men who invented the nail polish that would help a woman know if she was being drugged or not.
What do you put the finger in the
drink,
and then it changes color if there's a drug in there?
Yes. They said, I swear to God, this woman claimed the men who invented this are probably rapists themselves and think that if we do this, then it will create a culture where it's more okay to drug women because you're taking the responsibility
like you should.
off the men.
You had your tester thing. You know, how did it happen?
It's a despicable.
It's your fault for.
It's a disgusting.
Yeah, I mean,
fake
like
ideology.
you said, that sounds almost like I couldn't imagine someone even making that.
That's like you meet a 16-year-old girl as a guy, as an adult, and you get her fake ID that says she's 22, and then you take her out, and then you have sex with her. It's like you
knew that she was still underage.
She's still 16. Like,
yeah.
What is that? It doesn't make any sense.
It's like in To Catch a Predator, where the guy would say, "Oh, I only came here because I wanted to make sure she knew that she shouldn't do this."
Go back to the message, and it's like, I'm gonna lick your.
I drove 400 miles because I wanted to
teach her a lesson.
I always want to talk.
I took a bus for 12 hours.
Yeah, because I want to talk. It's always because they wanted to talk. Yeah.
I saw one guy walked in. He went, "Oops!" When the guy came out, "Oops."
No, the guys that got naked, they always crack me up.
Oh,
They're buck
it's naked first, you sick.
And then they go.
Oh, they get naked before the girl.
Times, yeah.
They're just so sure it's going to happen.
You know what I always wanted? What I wanted to make a sketch of this, but like, what I really always hoped would happen just once would be Chris Hansen walks up to the guy who came to meet the girl, and it's an actual 12-year-old boy, and he's just like, "Yeah, what the hell? She said you were going to have sex." He goes, "Oh, we honestly didn't think you were a real 12-year-old boy." And he goes, "I was talking to an adult. Sure, I'm going to call the police."
And it totally turns.
Just once, I wanted a 12-year-old boy, maybe a 12-year-old boy who was pretending to be 50, because that's what the girl liked. And then he just being real indignant about it, like, "I'm keeping these cookies. Fuck you, old perverts. Thanks for wasting my time, you dicks."
I rode 8 hours on my bike for this.
I could be playing Xbox. So,
when you guys, real quick, you're bringing up all these different ways of people just manipulating what their perception is of something, and then making a group or making it an agenda. What I saw happen it was a while ago, but when did mansplaining come out, and when was that? So don't you mansplain. If you were a man and you said something that was just an explanation,
I think it's condescending. When you're condescending,
and then it became
something.
Everyone wants to win an argument said, "Well, you're mansplaining."
Right.
And
so that was it was a
they're willing to
deflection.
misuse. People will then misuse it, and then people were like, "Well, now I hate the term." When originally it was a term that it does make sense in some.
It's
sometimes.
just like bullying.
We've all done it.
Yeah, but
I once mansplained mansplaining to a woman.
Yeah,
yeah, but I'm talking about just on social media. I was on Facebook, and all I did was when I'm obviously not a defender of Trump, but when he was calling Elizabeth Warren Pocahontas, I only defended him saying, well, the truth is she declined to take the test, and she's basically like 1/32nd American Indian. Right. So in my mind, it's like if a Caucasian-looking guy starts bragging, I'm 1/32nd Chinese, and you go, okay, Charlie Chan, you know?
Yeah.
It's not the same racial thing as if she really was an actual looking, looking American Indian. And that's all I was saying, and this girl goes...
I think you're more race-splaining than mansplaining.
Well, no, because I'm telling you... And what the girl did was... all of a sudden, this girl comes on Facebook and goes, don't you mansplain? And I felt like I was like, whoa, I'm getting the hell out of here. Like,
that was someone who just... Sometimes people will use that to just avoid having to defend a point. They'll make it about who you are as opposed to what you're saying. And that sucks. Because it does ruin your ability to use that correctly.
I literally felt like I'm walking into a supermarket, and I see a lady putting stuff in her trunk, and I go, can I help you? And she turns around and goes, why are you threatening me? You know, like, and you're like, okay, I'm getting the hell out of Dodge.
I know a woman who yelled at a guy to stop mansplaining to her because he was trying to help her not get her car towed. She parked She was performing at a music venue, and she was from out of town, and she parked illegally. And she was in front of him saying, "Hey, do you think it's okay to park here because it's Sunday and it's this kind of curb?" And he said, like, as nice as I saw it. He was like, "Oh," he was like, really that kind of guy. He was like, "Oh, hey, actually, yeah, you be careful because they on Sundays if it's red, they'll still give you a ticket and they tow here, so I'd be careful." And she was, "Yeah, thanks for mansplaining to me." It's like, you're a bad person.
Yeah. How do you win?
You're a very bad person because you just wanted to attack someone who was trying to help you.
Yeah.
It's disgusting because now, guess what? You just made it harder for people to use this term correctly because you're selfish.
Mansplaining would have to, the criteria is that the woman already understands what you're explaining.
Yeah.
They understand it already, and then you're over-explaining it because you're...
And there's a condescension involved.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Stop juice-splaining to us.
What's that?
Stop juice-splaining.
Well, mansplaining, and that's what I did. I mansplained. I did it to a woman, man.
But I don't care, and you could bully me too. It's all right.
It's supposed to be... It's mansplaining when you're saying it to a woman because you're saying, you obviously don't know what you're talking about, so I'm going to assume this is something you needed to be told. If it's information... Like, to have an argument and say, well, I disagree with you because of this, is kind of the opposite of mansplaining because you're saying, I don't think you think this. That's why I'm presenting this idea, and when it's misused, that's the problem.
I always feel like it should have to involve a man explaining to a woman's issue. Like,
that could be
that's kind of like where I kind of will jump in with the mansplaining is like, you know, if it's an issue related to women and a man is telling me that I'm wrong about this woman's issue, then it's like, oh, you know, like, well, if two women are talking about like the percentage of white women that voted for Trump, and the guy will be like, well, it's not actually, you know, 50%, it's more like 47%, or talk to you about like if a guy was I'm trying to think about, like, I usually use mansplaining when
it could be even like two
Trump.
girls talking about the way they feel about the workplace as a woman, and then a guy comes in and just says, well, what it really is all about. It's like, dude, you don't know.
Right.
You have no idea. You're just assuming that
Joe,
they don't know.
So Joe, I just want to make sure you're telling Marissa what mansplaining actually is, as opposed to what she, to the best of her ability.
I already told her what it was, and then she's coming in.
Look, freaking broads. They don't understand.
Later, Joe's going to explain sloppy Joe sandwiches. It's Hunt's manwich splaining. mansplaining.
Yeah, exactly.
Look, Marissa's doing the best she can. She's just trying to explain to us through the filter of her female brain. Yeah, no, it is sucks because it's one of those things where, like, no matter what you believe in, someone's making it look bad on the internet right now. And it's like, so every little thing, people go into immediately. I mean, the term fake news means Russian articles that were pretending to be CNN and were photoshopped.
And it was hijacked
immediately hijacked just to confuse people.
Yeah.
They took away that ability to say it. It's just like when people try to use racism to say it's racist when you give a job to a black guy, you know, because you had to hire one black guy for your whole company. That's That's racism. And it's like, that's not, or even like the difference between racism and just bigotry is, or like that there's different ideas of what
prejudicial.
Yeah,
you know, there's different levels.
There's a lot of
everything.
different things. You're not racist. You can't be racist against gay people. That's something else. That's
right.
But yeah, it's just a goddamn mess, and people are constantly lying for the momentary win of a conversation. Yeah. They're constantly ruining everything good just to not look stupid in the moment. And
so, Dave, trying not to ruin something, not to look stupid. What's going on with Spygate?
Oh, Spygate? Yeah, real quick. Got 5 minutes left, guys. So as you know, the FBI had a confidential informant contact multiple, maybe 2 members of the Trump administration before the election, and Trump decided to try to call that spying. Now, of course, a confidential informant is also what we call a person who investigates a crime and without telling you he's the police. So the very idea, and people are saying, well, this is spying, goes, no, this is what's called the laws of the United States of America investigating crimes. Trump had people working for him who were in contact with Russian spies that we were already interested in before he was ever in politics. In 2014, Paul Manafort was being monitored for dealing with spies in Russia, so that meant we had a good...
And so was Carter Page.
Right. And so we went to Trump and we said, hey, listen. They went to Trump and they said, hey, be careful. There are spies trying to get in touch with you. And then Trump said in not so many words, said, yeah, I know. I want to work with Russian spies. Get the fuck away from us. Because Trump made it clear that he obviously, if it wasn't a plan, he would have been worried. He would have been concerned about Russian spies, but he wasn't, because that was his whole plan of how to win the election to begin with. So they're trying to just use this word spy to confuse the simple as to what it means when a crime is investigated.
Right.
It's the same thing as if every single person who's ever been on trial in America said, Your Honor, I have a bombshell.
Your Honor, this Donnie Brasco guy, he never identified himself.
Yeah. He never told us he was... Or it's even worse. It's like saying, Your Honor, I have a bombshell. The prosecutor is being paid by the government.
Yeah, exactly, yes.
To put me in jail.
Witch hunt. But I thought he was actually like just an undercover FBI agent, not an informant. I didn't think that
There's
he
tons
was
of
a
informants.
CI.
No, he's a CI. He was a guy who at some point they put on a payroll because they need people who are not officially FBI agents out there to just collect information.
Yeah.
Because that's how you stop Russia from invading the country.
Yeah,
because
and
this
they
is
weren't
kind of a big deal.
But they weren't investigating Trump. They were just investigating the people that, unfortunately, it's Trump's fault for having a staff of guys who, like half, had a history with Russia, were dealing with Russia, were in contact.
Not just Russia, dealing with Russian spies.
Right.
Russian criminals.
Yes, exactly.
The argument from a Trump supporter right now, and that's the problem with these Trump supporters, is they all believe this. They just refuse to answer questions and they deflect because they know they get fucked if they have to actually say it out loud. What they really mean is, when Donald Trump talks to a criminal, he shouldn't be considered a criminal anymore. That's the real argument. That because they were working with the Trump administration, whatever they did before that should be let go, and we should say, oh, well, he's an important man. Let him work with whoever he wants.
Well, isn't the Cohen's associate that just flipped, wasn't he also Russian mob?
I mean,
Freeman or something like that?
Cohen was an ambulance chaser in Brighton Beach convincing immigrants to commit insurance fraud, allegedly. But
No, the Russian, what's his name?
So he had a lot of ties.
The taxi king.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
this guy, that's a good one, by the way, because the whole Michael Cohen thing is just like, this is what happens
but
when
real
you
quick,
hire a shitty lawyer.
You knew something that we didn't. You just said that you heard that today they had Trump's lawyer snuck in to that meeting.
Trump's lawyer, and I want it's the White House lawyer. The White House assigned lawyer, 2 seconds,
right.
Basically was not on the manifest and was in the meeting, and they wasn't supposed to be there. And I don't think he was actually removed, but they're saying, and they're claiming that there's something wrong with that, but they left his name off the people who were supposed to be there, which is not
it was
normal.
Supposed to be 8 It was supposed to be the first meeting was select for just Republicans, and the second meeting was the gang of 8. They said from both sides to represent. In other words, he's got his lawyer in there to scour what the questions are. So it doesn't matter if Nunes leaks it to him. He's got his lawyer there. You know what I'm saying?
It's like John Gotti's lawyer getting
rewriting.
to just hang out in the police station while they were putting together their strategy. It's disgusting. This is criminal, and they are defending criminal behavior because they worship him as a dude. And what they're essentially saying is, we don't think there should be law enforcement anymore because then our president could get in trouble. Like, if you're going to say that he shouldn't have this confidential informant, then you're saying there should be no such thing as informants anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
That's fucking nuts.
It drives me nuts.
Before we wrap this up, just quickly, everyone where can everyone follow you on social media? What big projects do you have coming up next? I'll start with you, Mark.
Oh, man. You can find me on Twitter at Mark with a C, A, Gerber like the baby food. Mark, middle initial A, last name Gerber like the baby food.
Joe?
Just Joe Conte comic on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, and I do the Conte and Kenny show every Monday night on morelikeradio.com.
Cool. Johnny?
I'm Facebook. It's John O'Rourke, or I have another page, Johnny O, and it shows you where I'm playing at and doing stand-up.
Dave?
Yeah, and I'm Dave Cyrus, like virus with an S. And June 5th, I'll be doing Roast Masters at the Stand versus Joel Walkowski. And I'll have other stuff. I'll post it.
Follow me on Twitter at Maryssa Smith. Follow this show on Twitter at The Blamestorm. And if you enjoyed the show, please rate and review us on iTunes. And William the Incel, call in next time. All right. Bye,
I don't
guys.
think he's going to call in now.
Probably not.
Conversations.
Probably not, but you never know. All right, bye.